Hey guys, and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to be talking about protection warriors, and today I'm going to be covering three categories: abilities, talents and glyphs. Now the abilities that I talk about in the first section are abilities that I find interesting that have changed from live in comparison to beta. Now remember, this still is beta, so everything that I talk about now could in fact still change up until the release date, which we have no idea when that is. So please bear in mind that some of these will change, and when they do change I will update them in annotations so you guys can see the differences. Now, three abilities that haven't changed whatsoever so far is Last Stand, Shield Wall and Rallying Cry. They're all still the same. So the first ability I want to talk about is Battle Shout. Now on live, as you can see on the screen, there's two comparisons, live and beta. In live it costs 0 rage, it's an instant cast and it's a 1 minute cooldown. And this is what the effect does: it increases strength and agility of all raid and party members within 30 yards by 549 and generates 20 rage, and it lasts 2 minutes. Now this is at level 85. Now on the beta at level 85, the rage cost is the same, cast time same, and the cooldown is the same. But instead it increases the attack power of all raid and party members within 30 yards by 10%. It lasts 5 minutes and it also generates 20 rage. The next ability is Cleave. On live it costs 30 rage, it's an instant cast and it's got a 3-second cooldown. A sweeping attack that strikes the target and 2 nearby allies, dealing 2,932 physical damage. Now on beta, the rage cost is the same, the cast time is the same, but the cooldown is 1.5 seconds. Now, a sweeping attack that strikes the target and an additional nearby target, dealing 75% weapon damage. And it says use this when you have more rage than you can spend, so keep that in mind. The next ability is Commanding Shout. On live the rage cost is 0, cast time is instant and the cooldown is 1 minute. It generates 20 rage and increases the stamina of all party and raid members within 30 yards by 585, and it actually lasts 2 minutes. On current beta the rage cost is 0, the cast time is instant and the cooldown is 1 minute also, but it increases the stamina of all party and raid members within 30 yards by 10%, and it lasts 5 minutes and it generates 20 rage. Now I'm not sure if 10% is the equivalent to 585, I'm not quite sure, but I think this is a really good change. 10% it's a nice even round out number, so you know what you're going to get. The next ability I want to talk about is Devastate. Now on live the rage cost is 15, the cast time is instant and the cooldown is 0. It sunders the target's armour, causing the sunder armour effect. In addition, it causes 150% weapon damage, plus 854 for each application of sunder armour on the target. The sunder armour effect can stack up to 3 times. Now on beta Devastate, the rage cost is 0, the cast time is instant and the cooldown is 0. It deals 180% weapon damage, plus 1226, and it sunders the target, causing weakened armour. Now this is new, the weakened armour basically replaces the sunder armour, and the weakened armour effect is it weakens the armour of the target by 4% for 30 seconds and stacks up to 3 times. The next ability is Disarm. On live it costs 15 rage, it's an instant cast and it's got a 1 minute cooldown. It disarms the enemy's main hand and ranged weapons for 10 seconds. Now on beta the rage cost is 0, the cast time is instant and the cooldown is still 1 minute. But instead it disarms the enemy's weapons and shield for 10 seconds. So that's phenomenal. The next ability is Heroic Strike. On live it costs 30 rage, it's an instant cast and it's got a 3-second cooldown. An attack that instantly deals 3,910 physical damage. A good attack for moments of excess rage. Now on beta the rage cost is 30, it's a cast time of instant and its cooldown of 1.5 seconds. An attack that instantly deals 100% weapon damage plus 450, 140% plus 530 if a one-handed weapon is equipped. use when you have more rays than you can spend. So basically, this is a very big improvement for tanks because we did get the full benefit of it because, well, we're using a one-hander. But as you can see from the tooltip, we actually get a better bonus damage to make up for a one-hander rather than for someone who's using a two-hander. Now again, this is one of them abilities that you use when you've got too much rage and you don't know what to spend it on. The next ability I want to talk about is Heroic Throw. Now on live, the rage cost is 0, cast time is instant and the cooldown is 30 seconds. Throw your weapon at the enemy causing 4,889 damage based on attack power. This ability causes high threat. Now on beta, rage cost is 0, cast time is instant and the cooldown is 30 seconds. Throw your weapon at the enemy causing 50% weapon damage. So we no longer as a tank cause high threat with this ability, and I think that's mainly due from the threat increase that they have added so far to Mr. Pandaria. It used to be like 400, now it's gone up to 500 to 600 increased threat. So you don't really need it on there. They've dulled it down, so you just do damage. The next ability is Pummel. The rage cost is 10. The cast time is instant and the cooldown is 10 seconds. Pummel the target, interrupting spell casting and preventing any spell in that skill from being cast for 4 seconds. Now on beta, the rage cost is 0. The cast time is instant and the cooldown is 15 seconds. Pummel the target, interrupting spell casting and preventing any spell in that skill from being cast for 4 seconds. So it's pretty much the same except for it's free to use, but it's got a higher cooldown as a price. Now the next ability I want to talk about is Revenge. On live, the rage cost is 5, the cast time is instant and the cooldown is 5 seconds. It instantly counterattacks an enemy for 6,483 damage. Revenge is only usable after a successful block, dodge or parry. Now on beta, the rage cost is 0, the cast time is instant and the cooldown is 4.5 seconds. Instantly counterattack an enemy and 2 additional enemies for 12,390 damage, only usable after a successful block, dodge or parry. Now this is very good because we used to have to glyph to actually gain the additional 2 enemies, which is kind of bad, but now they've implemented it into the actual tool, it's very good. I don't understand the rage cost of 5 on live. It's kind of useless anyway. I mean, 5 rage, you can only use it when you dodge, block or parry. Now this next ability hasn't been implemented in live, but I want you to talk about it because it's a very important ability. Now the rage cost is 60, the cast time is instant and the cooldown is 1.5 seconds. It says, raise your shield absorbing 7,523 damage for the next 6 seconds. Absorption's amount increased with attack power. Now if you think about tanks, they get attack power from Vengeance, and we get Vengeance by getting hit by bosses. Now this means this ability could potentially start absorbing up to 50 to 100k damage, which would be absolutely insane, and in some respects better than the next ability, which is Shield Block. Now Shield Block, it absorbs, it doesn't absorb anything, it just allows you to block 30% of all damage, well, I should say all physical damage for the next 6 seconds. So you're still going to be taking damage, but 30% of that is going to be knocked off because it's going to be blocked. So for Shield Barrier to completely absorb damage, you take 0 damage. I think that's better than the Shield Block. But it just depends if it scales well with attack power. If you can get up to them 50 to 60k absorption amounts, which would be phenomenal. And in some respects that could be better than just blocking 30% of damage. We'll have to see, we'll have to do some fairy crafting on that. But still, I think it's a very good ability and it's a really good addition to Mr. Pandaria and to Warriors. The next ability I want to talk about is Shield Block. On live, the rage cost is 10, the cast time is instant and the cooldown is 30 seconds. Increases your chance to block by 25% for 10 seconds. In addition, if your total chance to block or avoid an attack exceeds 100%, your chance to critically block is increased by the excess. Now on beta, the rage cost is 60, the cast time is instant and the cooldown is 1.5 seconds. Now it says, raise your shield, blocking every melee attack against you for 6 seconds. these blocks can be critical blocks. So for them big boss attacks, I think this is a really good ability, of course. And the shield barrier that we just talked about, again, it really comes down to what the situation is. Now, shield block only increases your block by, it increases by 100%, but you only block 30% of all damage. So you've got to ask yourself, if this boss is going to hit me for 50k and your shield barrier absorbs 60k, what would be better? To absorb that one attack, or to absorb all his, let's say, 5 attacks for the next 6 seconds? So it really depends on the situation, and until we actually do some more theory crafting on this, we won't exactly know which is going to be better for which situation. But from common sense point of view, shield block would be done for physical attacks, and the shield barrier would be done for magical attacks. I think that's how it's going to work, and that's how it should work. So I'm really excited about these two abilities. Now the next ability is Shield Slam. On live, the rage cost is 20, it's an instant cast, and the cooldown is 6 seconds. Now it says, slam the target with your shield causes 6,404 damage, based on attack power, and dispelling 1 magic effect on the target. So this scaled really well with Vengeance. We got some really high crits there. On beta, the rage cost is 0, it's an instant cast, and it's got a 6-second cooldown. Now slam the target with your shield causing 12,866 damage, and it generates 10 rage. So this is an ability to generate rage instead of using rage, which is very nice. Now we don't know if this scales with attack power still. I know it doesn't dispel any magical effects unless you glyph for it, so that's one thing to keep in mind. I don't think it scales with attack power anymore, so you're looking at a flat base damage. But as you can see, these are both 85 comparisons from the beta and of course the live, so it does even more damage on beta, of course, in comparison to live. But then again, would that be evened out by Vengeance? The next ability I want to talk about is Spell Reflection. Now on live, the rage cost is 15, the cast time is instant, and the cooldown is 25 seconds. And it says, raise your shield reflecting the next spell cast on you lasts 5 seconds. Now on beta, the rage cost is 0, the cast time is instant, and the cooldown is 15 seconds. Raise your shield reflected the next spell cast on you by 5 seconds, so it's pretty much the same. But they've also added this little bit which I don't quite understand. Requires shield. Now we know Spell Reflect requires shield in live. Or does it? I'm not sure if they changed that, but last time I remember playing a warrior in PvP, you used to have to make a macro to change to your shield and sword to actually get your Spell Reflect off. I'm not sure if that's still the case. But if it's not, it's changing back, so it does require a shield for you to use it, which I think is a great thing. Now I'm not sure if it generates 60 rage like it used to. I do know that if you use Spell Reflect, it generates 60 rage, which is a phenomenal boost in rage. Not sure if that's a glyph or not. I can't quite remember. But still, the tooltips are pretty much the same, except it doesn't cost rage to use. Now this is the last ability I want to talk about, Thunderclap. On live, it costs 20 rage, it's an instant cast, and it's got a 6-second cooldown. It blasts enemies within 10 yards for 1,893 damage, and increases the time between their attacks by 20% for 30 seconds. Damage increased by attack power. Now on beta, the rage cost is 0, the cast time is instant, and the cooldown is still 6 seconds. It blasts the target within 8 yards for 4,177 damage, and applies the Weaken Blows effect. Now this is a new effect. I wouldn't necessarily say it's new, but it's new that they've implemented it into Thunderclap, which is a phenomenal way of doing Thunderclap, because it's one of the most used abilities for generally a lot of situations, for AoE packs, for boss fights. It's a very spammable ability. Now the Weaken Blows, it demoralizes the target, reducing their physical damage dealt by 10% for 30 seconds. Now this, I don't know if you guys remember, but trying to keep demoralizing shout up, because it used to be a shout, well it still is a shout on live, it's a pain in the ass. You don't really want to do it. It's another ability that you have to click that doesn't really do much. So implementing it into Thunderclap is a pretty decent way of going about it. Now Thunderclap also applies Rend. Now Rend was removed from the game in beta, and it's basically applied into certain abilities. Now I know Thunderclap is one of these abilities, so if you Thunderclap, all the targets will be affected by Rend or some type of bleed, and therefore you're going to apply weaken blows, a bleed effect, and you're going to do a lot of damage, which is a really good ability. So you're getting 3 abilities in one really, which you cannot argue with that. Okay, so what we're going to talk about next is talents. The first one is Juggernaut. Now Juggernaut will allow you to charge 12 seconds rather than 20 seconds. A pretty standard charge for that everybody pretty much uses in live at the minute. Now the second one is pretty cool. This is called Double Time. Now it allows you to charge twice in 20 seconds. And this could be used for consecutive pulling in dungeons or in PvP arenas to, you know, interrupt twice when they're trying to heal. Different situations. Now the third one is Warbringer. Now you charge the target and you knock them down and stun them type of thing. It's kind of a cool ability. Probably used for PvP really, let's face it. Now the second tier first talent is Enrage Regeneration. Pretty much similar to live. It regenerates a percentage of your maximum HP. Costs 60 rage. Pretty expensive. It's got 1 minute cooldown. Keep that in mind. I wouldn't necessarily say this is one of the best abilities that you could choose from now in current beta. The second one is Second Wind. Whenever you are stunned or stared, you will generate rage. I think you generate health as well if you are snared. I'm not 100% sure. But just from the tooltip here, it only generates rage. So I'm not sure if that's bugged or not. Now the third one is Impending Victory. This replaces your Victory Rush. You can use it whenever you want. It costs 10 rage and it's got a 30-second cooldown. Pretty good healing ability. I think pretty much all warriors, including tanks, will have this ability. It's a very good ability to give some extra healing. Now the third tier, the first talent, is Staggering Shout. Now if your target is snared, such as hamstringed, and you use this ability, they will be rooted in place. Now this does work with other snare abilities of other classes. Pretty cool ability, I must admit, especially for arenas. Now the second talent is Piercing Howl. Pretty much same as live. It slows them down by 50%. It costs a bit of rage. 10 rage, it's not too much. One of them abilities you can really spam. Now the third ability is Disrupting Shout. It's got a 40-second cooldown, no rage cost, instant cast. It will basically silence people in an AoE around you. A really nice ability for arenas as well, especially considering it doesn't cost any rage. Now the fourth tier this is where the fun is. This is Blade Storm. Now keep in mind, Blade Storm can be used as tanking. You can block, parry and dodge while using it. A really nice ability, especially when combined with Recklessness. Now the second ability is Shockwave. Now Shockwave is, it's pretty standard. Don't think it's changed, to be honest, from live. It stuns a target for 4 seconds. It does a moderate amount of damage. Just, it's Shockwave. Now the third one is Dragon's Roar. This is a pretty cool ability. 1 minute cooldown. It does an AoE shout that knocks targets down, stuns them and knocks them back. So it does a lot of damage. Really cool ability. Does quite a lot of damage as well, I must admit. Now the last tier that we're allowed to choose from, tier 5, is Mass Spell Reflect. Now when you use Spell Reflect, which doesn't cost any rage now, which is fantastic, it gives you 2 charges, so you can Spell Reflect twice, and it also gives a Spell Reflect to everyone around you, party or raid members. So the second ability is Safeguard. This replaces your Intervene. It basically intervenes or safeguards a target, reducing their damage by 20%, and the next attack on that target will be transferred to you. So a pretty cool ability, I must admit. Now the third ability and the last ability we're going to talk about is Vigilance. Now this is a very, well, I'd say it's a crap ability. I don't like this ability at all. You place Vigilance on a target and it transfers 30% of damage done to them to you. nothing really major there. It's not that great. So guys, that's the talents. Hope you enjoyed. Okay, the last section of this guide is glyphs. Now I'm just going to talk about the glyphs. The first one we got here is Blitz. It's a major glyph. Now your charge stuns an additional 2 targets. Now I'm not really sure about this ability because it says Blitz, and of course it's got the intervene ability here, as you can see here, intervene, but it's got the you know, it says it's your charge stuns 2 targets. So again, this is beta. The icon might not be the actual icon they're going to be using, but still, there you go. Your charge stuns additional 2 targets. Bloodthirst increases the healing of Bloodthirst by 100%. That's quite nice. The healing, of course, is quite low, just as default, so increasing that is a major. We've got Bull Rush. Increase the duration of your charge stun by 0.75 seconds. Glyph of Cleaving. Increase the number of targets your cleave hits by 1. That's nice. Colossus Smash. Your Colossus Smash also applies the Sunder Armor effect to your target. That's nice to reduce their armor, of course. Death from Above. Reduce the cooldown of your Heroic Leap by 15 seconds. This is a major, and I actually use it as a prot warrior. 30-second, you know, Heroic Leap is phenomenal. I mean, the amount of diversity warriors have, and that just increases it, because on live at the minute I think it's like a 1-minute cooldown. So having that, it's already reduced to 45 seconds, so another 15 off that, obviously 30, pretty damn good. Anyway, let's move on. So we've got Enrage Speed. While enraged, you move 20% faster. That'd be quite good for PvP, I must admit. Let's scroll down a bit here. Furious Sundering. Reduce the cost of your Sunder armor by 100%. Okay. Gag Order. Your Pummel and Heroic Throw also silence the target for 3 seconds. So Pummel, it interrupts them from preventing spells in that skill for 4 seconds. So it doesn't actually silence them, it just interrupts a spell. So they can't use Fireball, for instance, for 4 seconds. So Glyphing in Pummel for PvP will be, you know, a good thing. So definitely get Gag Order, I must admit. Hamstring. When you spend Rage to apply Hamstring, the Rage cost of your next Hamstring is reduced by 100%. I'm not sure if that has a cooldown or not, but again, that would be something for PvP. Heavy Repercussions, not yet implemented. The NYI is not yet implemented. When your shield block is active, your shield slam hits for additional 50% damage. Pretty cool. Hoarse Voice. Reduce the cooldown of your rage generating of your battle and commanding shout by 50%. Reduce the cooldown and rage regeneration. I don't quite understand that one. Reduce the cooldown and rage generation, sorry, on your battle shout. It reduces. But why would you want to reduce the rage it generates? Let's have a look at that actually. I want to look at this because so it reduces it to 30 seconds, but it only gives you 10 rage. I wouldn't necessarily that's a good thing, to be honest. I really like having 20 rage, especially starting in for a fight, because you'd use your battle shout and then you'd charge. So you get a maximum of 40 rage just from them 2 abilities, which is very nice. And then if you used your shield slam, it gives you 50. And then with your auto attacks as well, you're going to get enough to use shield block quite fast off the block, you know, as you start a fight, which is definitely needed. So I wouldn't necessarily say that's a good thing. Hold the line. Improve the damage of your next revenge by 50% following a successful parry. Again, revenge is one of our hard-hitting abilities. That's why I actually have this ability. Long charge. Increase the range of your charge ability by 5 yards. I think our charge is 8 to 25 yards, so it'd be 8 to 30. I think 25 yards is plenty, to be honest. I won't see a lot of people taking that, to be honest. So Mortal Strike, not yet implemented. When your mortal strike is affecting a target, healing effects on you are increased by 10%. That is phenomenal for PvP, because that plus impending victory, that's a lot, to be honest. I think warriors are going to be like wrecking trades. As soon as they kill someone, they're just going to be able to heal up to full. Okay, overpower. Cleave hits increase the damage of your next overpowered by 10%. Cleave hits increases the damage of your next overpowered. So, I don't know, do warriors actually use cleave in PvP? I thought they just use heroic strike. I mean, I'm not a big PvPer, so I wouldn't really know. But for PvE, I wouldn't necessarily say that that'd be a good thing, to be honest. I don't know. I don't play DPS, so I wouldn't know, but I'm sure experienced DPS would know if that was any good or not. Raging Wind. Your Raging Blow increases the damage of your next Whirlwind by 10%. Again, Whirlwind was taken out of the warrior rotation back in Wrath of the Lich King. It just wasn't viable to use Whirlwind when you could use Cleave. Spamming Cleave was a way better way of doing damage to multiple targets, especially when it's glyphed and stuff and you're hitting like 4 targets at a time. So again, I wouldn't necessarily say that'd be good. I don't think warriors use Whirlwind. Back in vanilla, Whirlwind used to be well OP. Anyways, let's move on. Recklessness. Recklessness no longer increases damage taken. Again, that is going to be a good for PvP. To reduce damage taken while you're popping that, getting some big hits out. Resounding Power increases the damage and cooldown of Thunderclap. Increases the cooldown. Again, you don't want to sacrifice a cooldown for damage by 50%. What would 50% be? Let's find out. So it's a 6 second now. So 9 seconds. I wouldn't like that at all. I think on live now though, it is actually 10-second cooldown. I'm not 100% sure. Can't quite remember. But 6 second Thunderclap, I'd definitely take that, to be honest, because spamming that on AoE packs is one of your high, threat generating abilities, really. So I'd rather cast that more often than not. Rude Interruption. Successfully interrupting a spell with Pummel increases your damage by 5% for 30 seconds. That's something similar to what mages have on live. When they silence a target, their damage gets increased. I think that's in Arcane though. Shield Slam. Your Shield Slam now dispels one magic effect. That's because obviously Shield Slam now doesn't do that. It just generates rage instead. So you've got to glyph to dispel the magic. Shield Wall. Shield Wall now reduces damage taken by additional 20%, so it'll be up to 40% in total. But the cooldown will be 5 minutes. No, actually 4 minutes from that. So Spell Reflection, reduce the cooldown of Spell Reflection and Mass Spell Reflection by 5 seconds. That doesn't really make sense because Mass Spell Reflection is built in to Spell Reflection. Although let's have a look here. I think they mean this part here when it says for a single spell for 5 seconds. So I think that means it would last for 10 seconds instead. I think that's what it means. In fact, let's just try it out. Ones we're not sure about, we might as well try out. So here, no, it's actually 5 seconds. So that is pretty useless, to be honest. Because, although it's not pretty useless because we aren't even spec'd into it, you idiot. Okay, let's try that again. Learn. I do like the fact that you can just right click and learn as long as you have Dust of Disappearance. Right, let's try that again. No, again, it's the same thing. I would expect it to increase the duration of that to 10. Maybe it's a bug, who knows. But again, it doesn't really work. Okay, so Glyph of Sweeping Strikes. When you hit a target with Sweeping Strikes, you gain 2 rage. Again, not really sure. Increase the radius of your Thunderclap ability by 2 yards. I wouldn't necessarily take that, to be honest, because it is one of your major glyphs, which again is better used with ability that something else, really. 2 yards is nothing. Victory Rush, increase the total healing provided by your Victory Rush and impending victory by 50%. So, as I was talking before in previous clips, Victory Rush with impending victory is just going to be a phenomenal healing. So let's actually just put that on, and let's charge this wolf. And let's... So 14k, pretty good to be honest. Whirlwind, here we go, increases the radius of your whirlwind by 4 yards. So I think Whirlwind might be making a comeback, or these glyphs could just be absolutely useless. And then we've got one glyph here which is greyed out, which is not active. Your Devastate hits cause your next heroic strike or cleave to hit for 100% more damage. Pretty nice. I think that used to be built into the warrior talents. You can't use it yet, so that kind of sucks. Now for the fun glyphs. All these glyphs here in the minor glyphs are glyphs you don't even have to glyph. The useless glyphs, they're just... they kind of make the game a bit more fun for your character. Like your Battle Shout and Commander's Shout terrifies small animals. Would a cow be classed as a small animal? Let's go try. No. It's not a small animal. Well, it's not exactly a small animal, is it? I think it just means critters, such as rats, raccoons, or that type of things. Like that one there. Let's go actually scare it. Got 10 seconds to wait. I know it seems like an eternity, but let's do it because this should be funny. Let me actually close this down so you guys can see. I hate having to click because I haven't set on my keybinds. Okay. And there we go. I wonder how long it lasts. That's funny. Anyways, as I was saying, these glyphs are pretty much like, well, you know, they're not, like increase the healing you receive from bandages by 20% while your deep wounds is active. Yeah, since when are you going to actually be able to bandage when you're fighting someone? It doesn't really make sense. Burning anger. You get so angry, you enrage that you catch on fire. Crow Feast. You actually critical strike summon a flock of carrier birds. What? And when you, should I say, I need to say the name first. Enduring Victory. When your victory rush and impending victory heals you, you grow slightly larger. Again, crushing wounds. Your bloodthirst critical strikes are even bloodier than normal. Well, I was getting a bit graphical. Intimidating Shout. All targets of your intimidating shout now tremble in place instead of fleeing in fear. That would probably be a good one for PvP. Or maybe even in dungeons actually. To fear them and not be attacked. That could be quite a good one to take. Mystic Shout. Your Battle Shout and Commander's Shout causes you to hover in the air for 1 second. Now I have that. There we go. Just kind of hover. Thunder Strike. Basically your thunderclap now has a visual. And then Blazing Trails, which is not implemented yet. Your charge leaves a trail of fire in its wake. If you are going to charge, why not do it with some style? So guys, them are the glyphs. Some good ones, some not so good ones. Same for the minor glyphs, some cool ones, some not so cool ones. But I think this is beta, don't forget guys, so all this information could change, and I will be checking regularly to make sure if it has changed that I will update it in an annotation for you guys, so you can kind of keep up to date with what's going on. So I hope you enjoyed this video guys. Please rate, comment and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next guide, which probably will be the monk, learning how to play the monk. And why is that so bright? Was it because of my thunderclap? Yeah, it was. Kind of leaves a light spot on the ground, which is a bit weird. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.